Yeah, you talk about leasing, and I agree completely with you on leasing. But what we haven't chatted about is the management of the development. And I know that we also quite passionate about controlling our own destinies, or Flanagan and Gerard Group would be. Do you want to touch on development management within our portfolio?
Yeah, well, again, in terms of development, we keep that in-house so that we know exactly what's happening day to day during the construction process of the centre. We know at what percentage we let, we know what our costs are, whether there's any overruns or savings, and time also, whether we're on time. You just got to make sure that you do everything correctly, whether it be costing, construction management in terms of timing, in terms of the leasing. You've got to have certain thresholds before you start on site, and certain thresholds through the process. And as you know, we cannot get on site or continue on site without all those thresholds being met. And I think we've got a fantastic team that manages it for us. And good luck, and let's carry on the good work. Because touch wood, in something like 20 or 30 years, we've never been late on a project once we've set the date, and we've never been over budget. In other words, we occasionally have had to go over budget, but we've rectified that with increased income, and the two balanced out. But we've kept everything on a very tight rein.
Well, it's important because you have to fund the development.
Yeah,
sure.
I also think that the other aspect of the development management role is to eliminate some of the poor communication that you find in lots of jobs. And a lot of that comes through having an external project manager, because all you're doing is adding an extra link in the chain, and everything gets broken telephoned, and you get distorted things, and they only tell you what they want you to hear. So by having your own development management team, you control that, as Pete was saying. And it also goes through to your professional team. It is so critical to have the correct professional team, and make sure that one has a good working understanding with them. And from an architectural point of view, particularly, bear in mind that if it's our money, we've got to control. And ultimately, it doesn't matter what an architect says, we've got to take the responsibility for the design ultimately. And I think that's a thing I've seen, and I could mention centres, but I won't, where that hasn't happened, where the architect has dominated the process, and the product has ended up totally wrong.
So, I mean, is your interpretation of it that because the Flanagan and Gerard Group always have a principal at site and design meetings for speedier decision making, it also encourages professionals to bring principals to these meetings?
That's very important. You don't want to have a person at a site or management meeting who's really just a letterbox. In other words, you must make the decision then and there. And occasionally you'd find that someone may make an incorrect decision, but it doesn't matter. You stand by that person. You give that person the responsibility, and then that person must carry out what is done. And you get an answer straight away. It saves any time delays in terms of construction, getting things done on site. And it's just a much better system than running back through a letterbox.